All right, welcome to this video. I'm really excited to get this one underway. So today I'm going to be talking about why most eComm brands fail and how you can actually succeed with your eComm journey. Over the last few weeks, I've been doing an analysis of our current client portfolio, up to 50 odd eComm businesses at this point in time that have come and gone. And also looking at our business, our eComm business, which is now turning over, 6 mil a year, and looking at the similarities between those that fail and those that succeed. And there's three really pivotal things on both ends of that spectrum which we've identified, which I'll jump into in a minute. Just before we do jump into it, my name's Will. I started an eComm business in cold pressed juice with my brother Sam that now does $500,000 a month revenue. And we also now help other businesses scale their eComm brands. So if you're looking for help, jump in the Facebook group, book a time to chat and see if we can help you out. So let's get into it. So the first three things, why businesses actually fail in the eComm space. I see this at varying levels of time, right from the very beginning to, 12 months in to 3 years in, is something around like what I'll basically boil down to focus. Okay, so people focusing on the wrong things, people seeing, dollar signs, seeing the potential, or other entrepreneurs sitting on the beach and lazing and making, millions, so they say, by doing absolutely nothing, by having a business automate themselves. This is kind of the wrong way to look at things. I can definitely tell you that there's really not that many people, if any, actually doing that haven't at least done the work in the interim to actually do that. So that's going to reflect as part of what I talk about the formula to success. But certainly the formula to failure is all about perception. People that focus on the perception of their brand, possibly becoming or appearing bigger than they actually are. That becomes, something on social media that people obsess over, getting followers and tens of thousands of followers. I can tell you for a fact that doesn't necessarily correlate to sales or actual loyal customers. Us ourselves, whilst we dabbled a little bit within the social media market when we were beginning, it took us probably 5 years to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram. Now, that was, I'll admittedly say, quite slow, but of those 10,000, we were pretty much assured that was a super, super targeted, engaged audience. Like, people literally had to find us to, search for us to actually find us, apart from, collabs that we did with influencers and whatnot. But, where this translates into people focusing way too much on building their followers, I've also seen brands with 100,000 followers and, getting 5, 10, 20 likes on a photo. And what does likes translate to? Not even sales, right? So meaning that their engagement or their audience isn't actually interested in what they're doing. They're probably just posting some cool photos. So the focus on building a profile or a perception of being bigger than you are is definitely a pitfall that people, fall under. And so we often say that, this is kind of transpired around what you're observing in the market and people having perception of being, big and famous and successful. But I can tell you in the Facebook world, what we advise our clients is, have a look at what your competitors are doing or brands that are similar to you in different industries. But take with a grain of salt how successful they actually are. There's no telling how successful they are behind the curtains just by looking at their ads, for example. And it's the same thing with their social profiles. They could be making hardly any profit. They could be making $1,000 in sales a month, or they could be making $1 million in profit a month. And so take that with a grain of salt about how successful people are, and that the number one thing is their perception of a big business. And to add to that, ironically, people love dealing with smaller, genuine local brands. So if you are just starting out, or even if you're a few years down the track, we're literally 10 years into our journey now, and we still have a small business feel. We still interact with our customers personally. We also obviously have a team that helps us as well, but everything is on behalf of us. So that is our branding around us as actual people, which people love. So that's, you can use that to your advantage, and I encourage you to do so, particularly in the beginning. There's nothing like building relationships with customers so that they will always come back to you. That's a custom for life, I guarantee it. The number two thing about why people fail is jumping into paid marketing way too early, right? So I've seen this time and time again where businesses are, again, at various levels of their journey, and they feel that they need to throw thousands of dollars into paid marketing, whether that be Google or Facebook or any other form of social media marketing or paid marketing. And they think that this is going to, I often say, save their business, drive sales that aren't currently there. I'll preface this by saying, yes, by increasing reach through paid marketing, there is a chance, and often the case, where sales do increase. But what you actually pay for those impressions and those sales is not in proportion to, a profitable level, right? We often say that paid marketing is an enhancer or an amplification of what you've currently got in your business. So anybody that we're working with that says, I want to jump straight into paid ads, we say, well, let's first look at what you've currently got. How many sales are you actually making organically? What is your repeat customer rate? What's your average lifetime value? What's your average order value? And if that stacks up in a sustainable way, we say, okay, 1 + 1 does equal 2, that if we enhance this with ads, you will get proportionately more sales and more revenue. But the biggest pitfall is when people jump the gun there, and they end up spending all the cash reserves they have or their profits into paid ads and end up with nothing. And we see this all the time with, paying agencies, for example, exorbitant fees. They obviously want to take on as many clients as they possibly can and will often promise you the world, which is a really sad part of the industry. But they're just doing their job. I genuinely believe that most of them are trying to do their best. And it is the fault of the business that they're not generating enough revenue or having enough activity or other sales elsewhere that is complementing the ads. And ads should only be a complement to what you've currently got. And in our experience, in our business, Facebook ads contribute about 25 to 30% of the revenue. Google ads, probably about 10 to 15 to 20%. And then the rest of the time, it's organic over time. So repeat customers and SEO as well, we've been doing for a long, long time. And then other campaigns as well. We don't have all our eggs in one basket. But number two is jumping into paid marketing way too early and burning all your cash. The third thing that we see is the margins. Okay, so this is a bit of a complex one where, we can go into average order values and lifetime values and all that sort of thing. But margins becomes really, really important when people are looking to buy the product. If they're comparing it to something that they're currently using and you're looking to transition them over, or they're looking at something your brand to use for the first time, then it's important that you have the margins in there, but you're not priced too high in order to scare them off and not give them the opportunity to build a relationship with you. And so when we first started our business, we actually priced ourselves a little bit lower than our competitors. We were in a fortunate position where we didn't have a lot of competitors, but we did know, a price per litre or a price per bottle of juice, what that was and how we could compare to that. So in order to get our foot in the door, we priced ourselves just touch under. We ran at slightly lower margins with the plan in mind to scale and have economies of scale later on to increase those margins. And I spoke about this in a previous video where we talked about price increases and how we can catch up those margins. But in the very beginning, I'm certainly not recommending you to, underprice your products or anything like that, but it's a fine line between pricing yourself correctly to give yourself the opportunity to be purchased by somebody versus, I'm a premium product, I have to price myself up there, even though you have no reputation in the industry. So it's just something to be really aware of. As I say, this is a bit of a complex, scientific experiment. There's no hard and fast answers about this. And I might do, a video down the line just basically based on margins and how to strategically do that. Right, so they're the three pitfalls that people basically set themselves up for failure in an e-com business. As I say, could be from the beginning, the middle, or years down the track. It's focusing too much on your perception or your image, focusing too early on paid marketing, and your margins, effectively that you price yourself out, or you don't have the margins to sustain a business and put back into it. Now, let's get to the ones where the really common things that I see, the three most common things that's easily made us, our first $1 million in sales and a commonality amongst those that I see really, really succeed. And I'm sure this will resonate with you once I actually explain them. So for us, we started our cold press juice business out of not necessity, but we call it scratching our own itch. It was something we were producing already for ourselves. And so we were so passionate and so knowledgeable about this actual product that it was really easy for us to be passionate about sharing it with others. Okay, so I put this in the category of obsessing over your product. We wanted the best health product we could actually give ourselves, the best gift we could give ourselves. And so we obsessed over the ingredients that went into it, how it was actually consumed, what times it was consumed, and we developed a cleansing program out of this. Again, for ourselves to scratch our own itch, and then we formulated a business out of that. And so the point number one is to really obsess over your product. Obsess over it, because you yourself should be a consumer of that product if you're actually going to take it to the levels that you want to get it to. And again, this is something that I see as a massive commonality amongst businesses. People use their own products, the ones that succeed. They're always looking for innovations. They're listening to customer feedback as well to better their product. They're obsessing over it. And this really leads to innovations over time. When we started, we had plastic bottles. We used to put it in paper bags, and we used to have it in 1 litre quantities. And so over time, we listened to our customers and we said, okay, we definitely need to transition to glass bottles. And then we definitely need to transition to serving sizes of 350 ml. And these additions and this obsession of increasing and iterating our product has allowed us to continue to level up. So that basically your competitors can't ever catch up because you're always leveling up. And we're still innovating. We've got cooler bags, we've got extra insulation, we've got extra flyers and information. We've got extra things that we add on as surprises and things like that. And so obsessing over your product is definitely the number one thing. People will come back if they're satisfied with the product. And that leads into point number 2, obsessing over your customers. Right, this cannot be underestimated. Again, kind of going back to the pitfalls of, the perception of a big company. If you obsess over your customers, then you can never go wrong. That's your main target market. The ones that are actually buying from you are your target market. You can learn so much from them. And this I'm not the first person to say this. I know that for a fact. But obsessing over your customers is so important. Be in contact with them. Follow them up. Ask them how their experience was. And get to the point where you're actually building a relationship with them as a human being, and they will be a customer for life if they love your product. That obviously leads into getting reviews and building those that social proofing. But by obsessing over your customers, they feel needed, they feel heard, they feel loved, and they will, as I say, come back to you, and they will also refer you to many people. We've had that experience many, many times. We have a repeat customer rate of averaging about 55%. So as we've grown from 10K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, 500K a month, up to 800K a month last October was our peak, we have had a repeat customer rate of about 55 to 60%. And that's because we obsess over them. We love our customers. We follow them up all the time. And we love hearing about their experiences, and they love telling us about it. So it's a real two-way relationship. And that feeds into number 3. So building genuine relationships with customers, but also with people who can help you in any other way, and doing this in a genuine way. And this kind of ties into influencers. So I'll tell you a story in just a minute about how we've been really successful with influencers and how we've done it best, right? But by building relationships, again, like your customers, if people want to help you out just by being a person, sharing your journey, sharing your enthusiasm about your business and your market, and it's amazing what can transpire from that. We used to say, going back to really grassroots, when we did, let's call it farmers markets, we did little, launches at cafes and stuff like that. That was in the very, very early days. I'm talking within the first probably 6 months of having our business. Sure, we walked away from those things saying that was a bit of a waste of time because we had all this product, there weren't necessarily our customers there. But I can guarantee it, we would meet one person from that specific event that would lead us to one thing, to another thing, to another thing, to another thing, and that would benefit us again and again. And so by sharing our story, being genuine and building those relationships, never burning bridges, we were able to learn and iterate and innovate from there and get ideas about our website, get ideas about research, get ideas about, advertising or whatever it may be. And so build genuine relationships. And this leads into, as I say, the influencer piece. When we were starting out, we were definitely reaching out to influencers. And we had one particular person who we reached out to and gave her our green juice. This was in the first probably 6 months. She came back to us and said, that is literally the best green juice I've ever tried in my life. From that, we had an instant, basically, ambassador. And so we latched onto that person. And literally in the last 10 years, every time this person comes to Melbourne or requests, can I have some juices? Can I have a juice cleanse? We say absolutely, no problems, because we have such a relationship with this person that we know they will advocate for us. They organically built us up in our socials. They organically shared their audience with us. And that was purely because we had a genuine relationship that we cared about for them. We took an interest in their business. They're in the yoga, health, nutrition space. And the fact that they loved our juices was, a commonality for us, that we could really engage with them and share with them and be passionate with them. And so we heavily advocate for them too, as people. And I hope that we've actually been able to share our audience and our passion with them as well, to give them as much as they've given us. And so, when you think about influencers and building relationships with people that can help you in some way, treat them as people, because they are people. And the more you do that, the more you'll actually get in return. So don't just go up and straight up ask them, hey, can you promote my product? Can you do this? Can you give me this? Take. Treat them as people. They want to be treated as such. And I promise you'll form genuine relationships and get much more gain in, of course, sales and revenue, but in actual business satisfaction and longevity as well. And so I hope that wasn't too long, but just to recap, 3 pitfalls that people make is having a perception, jumping to paid marketing too quickly, not having enough margins that make sense. And those that want to succeed, follow our path to averaging 500K a month, obsess over your product, obsess over your customers, and build genuine relationships with people that can that you see a future with and can actually help you out in some way. I hope that helps. Please feel free to ask me any questions. As I say, if you're interested in growing your business, book a time below, join the Facebook group, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.